Welcome to the Man United stream. Hope you're doing well. Before we kick off today's show, I have to say a huge thank you to everybody out there that subscribed to the Man United stream channel. We've reached 5,000 subs. Yes, 5,000 subs in just a few months. And it's all because of you out there subscribing and showing your love to the channel, leaving your comments, letting us know what you think of what's going on at Man United, and just being part of this amazing community. So thank you very much for that. In today's show, we're discussing a report that's come out of the Financial Times newspaper suggesting that Sir Jim Ratcliffe, with his 25% minority stake within Man United, will not have control over footballing matters. It will be Joel Glazer. This is what all Man United fans have been fearing, and it looks like it's coming true. Our worst nightmare is coming true. Also in today's show, we're going to be discussing Jadon Sancho and the news coming out of Man United that he will be leaving in the January transfer window, so there's no hope of a reconciliation between him and Erik ten Hag. Make sure you hit that like button on this video. If you're new to the channel, like we've always said, please subscribe so you can keep up to date with all the latest Man United news and opinions. Let's kick off. So the Financial Times newspaper has reported that Sir Jim Ratcliffe, with his 25% stake within Man United, will be having some say in footballing matters. However, Joel Glazer will be the one who will have the final say on all footballing matters. I mean, isn't this what we've been saying? Isn't this what all fans have been warning Sir Jim and anybody else who's coming in for Man United, that do not take a percentage of United and leave the Glazers in charge, because nothing will change. In fact, you're just giving them a lifeline, and this is what Sir Jim has done. Ratcliffe is out of his bloody mind if he thinks he can work alongside these Glazers. These Glazers are not to be trusted. We've seen this over 18 years. They're not to be trusted. They're slimy, they're sleazy, and they're out to do you over when it comes to money. And if Jim Ratcliffe thinks that he can get one over the Glazers, he must think again. These guys, the Glazers, have got 2-inch thick skins, man. No one can get into them. They don't care about the fans, they don't care about the media coverage, they don't care about negative press or anything. All they care about is making money, and that's what they're holding on for United for, because they know if they hold on long enough, they will carry on making money. And until that money doesn't dry up, the Glazers will sit there on the board making all the important decisions. And now we're finding out that Sir Jim Ratcliffe will not have footballing control. He will not have, as it was suggested, overall control of what's going to go on the pitch and what's going on in football terms. He will have Joel Glazer sat there and making all the key decisions and accepting or approving all the key decisions that Sir Jim wants to make. So if this is the structure going forward at Man United, nothing actually changes. The Glazers remain in charge as we've suspected, and they will control everything and continue as they've been doing for 18 years. Nothing changes. So what has Jim Ratcliffe actually done for United fans? Nothing. We must remember that this guy actually gave the Glazers an option, a get-out clause, and they've taken it with both hands. The Glazers never wanted to leave and did not want to sell the club at all. That's what the reality is. We need to accept that these guys are here to stay. They did not want to sell the club, and Sheikh Yassim and his team found out very early on in the process that these guys were not going to leave. They wanted to hear offers where they still get to stay on at Man United, and well, Sheikh Yassim and his team disagreed with that. They didn't want to work with them and left the process. We've heard from sources close to Sheikh Yassim that they would have stayed within this process and made some further bids if they knew that the Glazers were serious about selling the club. However, from their talks with the Glazers, they discovered that the Glazers were not prepared to sell the entirety of the club and wanted to stay on at United. There's also talk of Ineos having another member as part of that committee in Dave Brailsford. He used to work for Sky Cycling and Nice. Brailsford does not have a footballing background, but he is said to have lots of ideas about what to do and get the best out of sports people, and that's why Ineos will be looking to bring him on to that committee. But the overall decision making will still be down to Joel Glazer, we're hearing, and that is problematic to lots and lots of Man United fans. We do not want to hear that Joel Glazer, the man who's been making the decisions for the past 18 years, is still continuing to make those decisions. That's the last thing we wanted to hear, and that is not changing. So nothing at United will change if Joel Glazer and Avram Glazer are still there to make all the key decisions. But this is the developing news that we are getting on the takeover of Sir Jim Ratcliffe of that 25%. So let's wait and see. More details I'm sure will come out on this takeover and how it's going to actually be structured and what power, if any, Sir Jim Ratcliffe will have over Man United. Drop your comments below, let us know what you think of this whole structure, this committee with Joel Glazer and Ratcliffe sat on it. Do you think he could actually have some say, or do you think this is the worst nightmare for all Man United fans coming true? We've said it for a long time, most United fans, that we want a full sale of the club and we want the Glazers out, but this seems to be the worst case scenario ever. We're getting the Glazers to stay and they're getting the money to keep them here for a long time. So moving away from the takeover and discussing other news around Manchester United, we are getting breaking news that Jadon Sancho will be sold in the January transfer window. Yes, there are other suitors out there who have been tapping up Jadon Sancho. We're hearing Borussia Dortmund are in the lead of signing Jadon Sancho, re-signing Jadon Sancho, because he actually did come from there. If you remember, it does not look like he's going to be reconciling with Erik ten Hag anytime soon, and things are just not repairable. Some fans were hoping that with this takeover completing, maybe the new ownership could come in and have a word with Jadon Sancho and Erik ten Hag and maybe act as peacemakers and get things sorted, but it looks like that's not going to happen. Erik ten Hag will have the final say about Jadon Sancho, and it looks like he's out of Man United in January. And if this news is true, it's sad news, because lots of fans out there really did want Jadon Sancho to be a success at Man United. Sancho came with a lot of potential and a high price tag, and everyone was hoping that he would take the Premier League by storm, but that unfortunately has not happened. But I do feel that this might be beneficial for both parties if Sancho does leave, go over to Borussia Dortmund, maybe find his form again and start playing some decent football. Wish him the best of luck, but Man United do need top players at United and players that are performing constantly and doing well. We are playing Sheffield United tomorrow. This is going to be a big game, back from international duty. Let's hope the players hit the ground running. We'll do a preview show tomorrow morning and a reaction show tomorrow evening on the Sheffield United game. Make sure you hit that like button on the video. Make sure you subscribe if you've not done already. You are watching the Man United Stream channel, a channel by the fans for the fans.